But to me, when I make you look away first, and somebody ain't got to force you to look away,
it doesn't necessarily mean something, but maybe it does mean. Maybe it might.
Right.
Maybe it might.
This fight is so close, they're so closely knitted that you got to look for all the small pieces, because the small things are what going to add up to somebody winning the fight.
See, Canelo giving up or having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody.
And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys.
As fight day approaches, Stevenson and Lopez push themselves to the limit in grueling training camps. Every day is spent sharpening skills, sharpening focus, and fueling the hunger that will drive them in what promises to be a career-defining showdown.
I'm fighting a road runner. I'm the Coyote.
Shot.
You chose me. I ain't choose you. You chose me. So I'm gonna tell you straight the F up. You can go back to 135. We'll send you back to lightweight. You still got your WBC belt. You're gonna be fine. Shakur will fall.
Meanwhile, the conversation around Stevenson and Lopez shifted away from pure skill and toward mindset, with Roy Jones Jr. and Max Kellerman zeroing in on what defines greatness at the highest level. They stressed that elite fighters don't pick safe paths, but embrace the toughest challenges available. In that context, the stakes look different for each man, as Stevenson carries the weight of expectation, while Lopez steps into a moment that could dramatically reshape his standing if he delivers on the biggest stage.
I look at this fight, Teo has more to lose. Sorry. Shakur has more to lose.
Yes.
He's the undefeated fighter. He's seen as the eventual pound-for-pound champ, potentially. But Teo has more to win. He has more to gain. So on the one hand, is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Kambosos, and he came back from that. But oh my God, if he can pull it off. Like, if it's a close fight and Teo could keep it close and we're going into the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds.
Roy Jones Jr. frames the fight through a different lens, contrasting it with matchups built around raw power. He suggests that, unlike bouts where strength levels the playing field, this one comes down to refinement and execution. In his view, Stevenson and Lopez are set for a true technical duel, where precision, timing, and decision-making determine the outcome rather than sheer force.
Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez.
That's a good damn fight, too. See, that fight is skill for skill, as good as this fight. But they just haven't been around long enough to prove themselves yet. But skill for skill, as far as equality, to me, Bud and Canelo are equal because of where they're in their career, because of how accomplished they are. These two guys are also equal where they're in their career, because they're accomplished, but not as accomplished as these two. But they're still equal accomplished. You understand me? So those are two good damn fights and what boxing is.
Max Kellerman highlights a side of Lopez that often gets overlooked, pointing to his ability to navigate the ring with purpose and intelligence. He emphasizes how Lopez uses movement to dictate space, create angles, and stay just out of danger, allowing him to operate efficiently rather than relying solely on power.
Then I apologize. I understand it feels unfair to you, and maybe it is unfair, but this is my honest opinion. It may be, but it is still my honest opinion, Malik. I just have to be honest with the way I see it. I don't think that was the best version of Teo by a long shot. But even then, he was rallying in that fight late. He has championship heart. And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, you know, where Meldrick had quick enough feet where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. But Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy Jones, James Toney. If you were going to go at James Toney, forget it. His defense is too good. But Roy had the feet to move around James Toney, and maybe Teo has the feet to move around Shakur.
Teofimo Lopez questions the motivation behind Stevenson's move up in weight, framing it as a response to circumstance rather than a bold choice. He paints the shift as part of a larger trend in boxing, where landmark moments have raised expectations for what greatness looks like. In his view, those achievements inspire fighters to chase legacy, but he remains convinced that once they meet, the narrative around Stevenson's invincibility will be put to the test inside the ring.
Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, aka Terrence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time for the sport of boxing and changed it by beating Canelo Alvarez to become the undisputed super middleweight world champion. So I think that I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge and face Teofimo, who is I. So I'm going to show everyone that his defense is not as immaculable like they say it is.
Lopez presents himself as fully locked in, framing the fight as a mental challenge as much as a physical one. He emphasizes preparation rooted in routine and discipline, suggesting that repetition and focus have sharpened his instincts to the point where reactions come naturally when the moment arrives.
Are you mentally prepared with the audience? Are you mentally going to be prepared with the certain punch selection? There's things that I have to maintain as well. Those are things that I have to work on within myself. It's a muscle. Think of it like condiments, right? You got your ketchup, you got your mustard, you got all these type of condiments, but you don't know if you like it or not unless you try it. And I think the same thing applies when it comes to getting prepared for certain things like this. Pretty much you have to try different things, different steps, different routines, different ways to see what really fits and works for you. And if they all fit and work for you, when is the right time to apply them? And it's a muscle memory that you have to create now. If you don't create now, it can harm you the day of the fight. The mentality part of it is gonna really be the key moment for who wins that night. I'm that type of person, truly, that type of person that focuses on being perfect.
On the other side, Stevenson remains fully immersed in camp, approaching each day with purpose and intensity. His focus stays on constant refinement, tightening every detail of his movement and preparation, while making sure both his body and mind are ready for what lies ahead.
That was 9 rounds of sparring. I ain't gonna tell y'all the minutes, but yeah, I'm preparing to my fullest. So I'm putting in a lot of work and getting ready. Sure.
Keyshawn Davis also speaks about Stevenson's camp as an environment built on trust, growth, and shared ambition. Having trained alongside him for years, Davis views Stevenson as both a mentor and a guiding presence, someone who sets the tone with experience and composure. He points to the constant emphasis on discipline and defensive awareness, describing a camp where everyone pushes each other to improve and where Stevenson's leadership helps keep those around him sharp and accountable.
Training with Shakur is amazing. A guy like me been knowing Shakur for over 10 years now. The boxing world know that we brothers and we'll never fight each other. And just being around him in his camp, man, is nothing but positive energy and everybody wanting to be great. He's like my big brother, man. Like, he is my big brother, honestly. You know, he got all the wisdom in the world, especially when it comes to defense. So he's just making sure I stay sharp on my defense and not getting hit.
Eddie Hearn also spoke about this fight and highlighted Stevenson as one of boxing's most underrated elite talents, ranking him among the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters based purely on skill. He emphasizes that Stevenson has already claimed titles in 3 divisions and now has a chance to make history with a 4th. Hearn also highlights Lopez's track record of rising to big moments, framing this as far from a routine bout, a sold-out Madison Square Garden clash between 2 of the era's best.
I think Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound, top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between two of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is we're seeing them in their prime.
On the contrary, Rolly Romero criticizes Stevenson's approach, labeling his style as too cautious and lacking excitement. He argues that Stevenson favors control and precision over aggression, focusing on outmaneuvering opponents rather than delivering punishing blows, which Romero feels makes his fights less thrilling for fans.
He's the most boring fighter in boxing history. He doesn't even try to knock people out.
I like the style, though. I like the hit and don't get hit.
You like his style, bro? Dude, he literally just touches men over and over and over again. He likes to touch men. He don't like to hurt men. He likes to touch men.
I think Shakur beats Tank.
To Shakur, for him, boxing is something very intimate that he can do with other men.
Popular boxing analyst and YouTuber, Wade, frames this matchup as a major win for the sport, stressing that fights like this are exactly what boxing needs. He notes that both men had safer paths available, yet chose to test themselves against each other, which elevates the moment. According to Wade, putting elite fighters together not only moves the sport forward, but also sets the stage for even bigger opportunities down the line, with both competitors standing to gain from the spotlight, regardless of the outcome.
So I think this is what people don't realize about making best versus best fights. For the most part, only good can come from this. I'm gonna knock on wood when I say that, because I don't want to have one of these fights where we get a stinker performance or anybody. But when the pressure is this high, when the stakes are this high, and you get this kind of opportunity, it will compound interest, even sometimes for the loser as well. This is why you look at MMA and you look at the UFC, and they have guys with 10 losses, 5 losses, 12. Some people that you would never think are going to compete for a championship, and maybe they don't even compete for a championship, but they're in interesting fights that people want to watch. Doing fights like this makes Teofimo Lopez, makes Shakur Stevenson a bigger name, and therefore, after this fight, they get bigger and bigger fights, and more people get invested into their fights because they know, hey, those two guys will fight the best in the world. Those two guys will go out and perform against the best.
Wade draws parallels to MMA and the UFC, highlighting how fighters can remain relevant and exciting even with setbacks. He explains that matchups against top-tier opponents generate buzz, keeping fans engaged and invested. In this context, facing each other boosts both Lopez and Stevenson's profiles, creating high-stakes drama that resonates beyond a single fight. Every exchange matters, every round counts, and the result can open doors to even bigger stages for both athletes.
They're talking to each other through Chris. I love that type of stuff, because what Teo's saying is true. Like, for him to go to the next level in his career, and for Shakur as well, they need to be tested, and they have been, especially Teo. Teo's taken some tough fights. He's beaten Vasily Lomachenko, beaten Josh Taylor, beaten Arnold Barboza. Like, these are tougher. Sandor Martin was a tough test as well. But my point is, this is how you get better. And this is why it frustrates me that guys won't take tough fights until they're 25-0 sometimes. And he's talking about Shakur's lateral movement, talking about how good he is as a boxer. This is, again, win or learn, in my opinion. Not that the stakes don't matter, not that wins and losses don't matter, but how are you ever going to really show your talent level if you aren't competing with the best? And Shakur has the same opportunity. This is Shakur's toughest test, no doubt about it.
Ben Whitaker frames the Stevenson versus Lopez bout as a clash between two elite, in their prime fighters. He acknowledges Lopez's athleticism, tricky angles, and charisma, but favors Stevenson, highlighting his mastery of distance, ability to dictate the pace, and skill in methodically dismantling opponents. Whitaker emphasizes that matchups like this, prime versus prime, are exactly what boxing needs to captivate fans.
Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson.
I like both guys, honestly. I like both guys. Teofimo, he's funny, he's got character, but he's a great fighter. He's very athletic. He comes from awkward angles, and I do like his style, but I study boxing, I watch boxing, I do like Shakur's style. The way he breaks his opponents down, he slows it down to his pace, he's got good distance. If you got to pick someone, I'm going Shakur, but it's a great fight. They're both young, both in their prime, and it's the fights we need now.
Furthermore, Sean Porter points to Stevenson's unique blend of skill and unpredictability, noting that every fight brings a different side of him. On fight night, it's anyone's guess which fighter will take control, but Stevenson consistently imposes his style and intensity. Porter recalls Stevenson's last bout, highlighting how he carefully studied his opponent, adapted mid-fight, and asserted dominance. By stepping into the pocket more than usual despite criticism, Stevenson demonstrated both courage and strategic intelligence, reinforcing his reputation and growing his fan base.
You know, Shakur gonna always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him, and eventually he knew that he was going to be in a position where he could have his way with the kid who was in the ring. I'm losing his name off the top of my head.
Right, I know you're talking about. But I believe he fought that way because he started hearing all the call of him running. He started saying, you know what, let me stay in the pocket, because he stood in the pocket a lot more than he normally stood in the pocket with that fight. You know what I'm saying?
It took some unnecessary shots.
Huh?
It took unnecessary shots.
Well, okay, right. Mm-hmm. But you see what kind of fan base he got after that too. The doubters started saying, you know what, I'm gonna roll with him more.
Even skeptics who once questioned his approach have come to respect Stevenson, recognizing his sharp ring IQ and unwavering determination. His capacity to stay true to his style while adjusting on the fly highlights why he's seen as one of boxing's most compelling talents, able to thrive under pressure and earn admiration from both fans and experts.
Like Mayweather did his last 10 fights damn near. You know, like, come on, man. What?
Nah, Mayweather wasn't running, bro. Mayweather was he was out there putting on master classes. That's not running.
He was not doing what he was doing when he was pretty boy. He was not bringing it to him. Come on,
them hands was like skeleton hands.
Okay. Whatever the reason was, I went with the eye test. Man.
So
when you go ahead.
So when it comes to Shakur and Teo, I feel like if it's not if Teo's not fighting someone that's being aggressive, pressing him a little bit, he taps out. And I feel like Shakur is not going to trade the way he did in the last fight because he knows he's going up in weight and Teo has power, obviously. So I believe that this is going to be one of those fights where he kind of fights on the outside, frustrates him a little bit.
Brian Norman highlighted discipline as the key factor in the Stevenson versus Lopez fight. He explained that Stevenson's focus on winning rather than spectacle or outside distractions sets him apart from most fighters. While Norman respects Lopez's athleticism and skill, he believes Stevenson's patience and composure will shine in the crucial moments, giving him the advantage when it matters most.
I think that's gonna be a wonderful fight, to be real with you, but I feel like Shakur gonna pull it off. And the reason being is because of discipline. Like, you look at Shakur as a whole, he don't care about getting booed. He don't care about anything like that. He care about winning. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Look, y'all looking at him, ready to watch him fight again versus Teofimo. But no matter what, who hand was raised. So I feel like Shakur gonna get that. And Teo, I ain't trying to take nothing from him. I feel like he's a great fighter as well, very athletic, very talented, and skillful as well. But I just feel like the patience of Shakur is what's gonna do it.
Brian Norman dug deeper into Stevenson's strategy, highlighting how his patience can dictate the rhythm of the fight. He explained that by picking his shots carefully and constantly resetting, Stevenson can frustrate opponents and lure them into overcommitting. Norman suggested that Lopez might be tempted to force the action, opening opportunities for Stevenson to exploit. While acknowledging that Lopez will push and challenge him, Norman still favors Stevenson, citing his composure and knack for turning opponents' eagerness into a decisive advantage.
Not necessarily anything, I won't say anything else at all, just straight up patience of Shakur. He don't mind just stealing you off on one and just moving. He don't mind. Yeah. And I feel like that's gonna make Teofimo more eager and overzealous. He was trying to force it. Yeah. So I think that's where Shakur will try to take advantage. Shakur may be on trying to be on some pressure stuff, like you seen. Yeah, you seen. So maybe he trying to prove a point as well. So it's really a toss-up, but for the most part, leaning towards Shakur.
Mikey Garcia also weighs in on the Stevenson versus Lopez showdown, calling it a must-watch clash for boxing fans. He commends both fighters, but points to Lopez's unpredictability as the key question mark, capable of brilliance against elite opponents like Lomachenko and Taylor, yet sometimes inconsistent. Garcia adds that taking on Stevenson is never simple, as his speed, technical mastery, and adaptability create a tough challenge for anyone stepping into the ring.
Teofimo Lopez, big fight coming up pretty soon. What do you think about that matchup?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Great to see you, brother. Always good to see you.
Happy New Year.
You too. We love you.
Great matchup, tough fight. I want to see what Teofimo shows up, because sometimes it's Teofimo, sometimes it's Teofimo, the great fighter who beat Lomachenko, who beat Taylor. That's a tough Teofimo. But then we've also seen him, in off nights.
Right.
And so that's kind of the only doubt, the only question that I have. Which Teofimo's going to show up.
What do you think he has to do to kind of deal with a guy like Shakur Stevenson? How would you approach a fighter like Shakur Stevenson if you were Teofimo Lopez with the attributes that he has?
I would think Teofimo, being that technically he's a bigger fighter, bigger size.
Garcia highlights Lopez's size and experience at this weight as potential tools to control the fight and create opportunities. However, he stresses that Stevenson's sharp ring IQ and awareness make exploiting those advantages far from easy. According to Garcia, this matchup is a genuine test of skill, power, and strategy, one that could shape both fighters' legacies and deliver a must-watch spectacle for fans around the world.
Shakur Stevenson's so good at what he does. Defense is on point, speed is on point, footwork is on point. And he's really one of the best skilled fighters out there. So it's hard to say, oh, this is what you gotta do. No, it ain't easy, trust me. But being Teofimo, again, if he's bigger, naturally stronger, then he should try to use that, to his advantage.
Furthermore, Mickey Bay analyzes the Stevenson versus Lopez fight by highlighting the fighter's mental strength, focus, and passion for boxing. He points out that while other opponents might capitalize on small mistakes, beating Lopez requires absolute readiness. Bay emphasizes Stevenson's commitment, describing him as a gym rat who is always training, fully engaged, and keenly aware of how to leverage his skills inside the ring.
Nah, unless Tank, if Shakur get dropped once or twice and he still get up and win, maybe, but nah, if Shakur win this fight against Teo, I don't see it happening. I would love for it to happen. Tank got the talent. That's a good fight to me. I always looked at it like at least close to a 50-50 fight outside of his, Shakur just seemed more locked in and more focused than him. Tank just seemed like he ain't, I don't know, it don't seem like he loved the game right now. So he just got to get his love back for the sport. Even if it ain't the love, because a lot of people could do it without loving the sport, but fighting a dude like Shakur, you got to be locked in, because Shakur is locked in.
Even if the opening rounds are tight, Bay believes Stevenson's discipline and focus give him the edge. He underscores that a champion's mindset, relentless preparation, and genuine love for the sport are what separate the greats from the rest. And that's what makes Stevenson so formidable. Bernie the Boxer also highlighted why Stevenson is such a tough opponent, noting his ability to capitalize on even the smallest openings. According to Bernie, Stevenson's precision and awareness make it nearly impossible for fighters to gain traction, keeping them on the defensive from the opening bell.
You know what I'm saying? In that sense, And I think Shakur could be number one just based off you can't beat this guy, And he takes advantage of all your mistakes, and he's dangerous. Shakur is so dangerous because you don't get a chance on Shakur. That's the only thing. He just take everything from you. You really have no chance in there against Shakur. With Bam, you can get hit. You can hit him. You never know what could change. Shakur, he leaves you no chance. You're virtually shut out from round one. So,
to sum up things, this fight transcends belts, size, or flashy moments. It's a clash of approaches and mentality. Analysts agree that true champions are defined by preparation, bravery, and the ability to embrace risk. Lopez brings raw power, athleticism, and the potential to turn the tide instantly, while Stevenson counters with discipline, sharp ring IQ, and confidence built from relentless training. That contrast is exactly what makes this matchup so compelling for fans. So, who do you think will come out on top on January 31st? Stevenson with his precise control and technical skill, or Lopez with his explosive power and athletic edge? Drop your prediction in the comments below.